Okay, this is the section on energy, and I feel this is something that's largely misunderstood. I'm going to explain it with a physics principle, and energy is very much a component of matter that inspires change. So when we have energy, we apply energy to something. It sets something in motion, so it disturbs a process. It is the component of us that makes change possible. So um, energy is in everything around us, and it transfers as well. And then we can also use and feel energy. So I'm going to explain this with a glass of water. So this is basically just water, and we're going to show you what happens when we apply energy to it, and then how that energy then transfers as well. So, and then I'm going to go through an explanation of practically more intuitive work, how that translates. So first of all, what we can do is when we have a glass of water, it's a system at rest, and then we can apply a disturbance to the system at rest, which is then the flame that we're adding. So we're going to add heat. Heat is a form of energy. It's basically a combustible fuel that is then ignited. Then when it ignites, it actually releases energy. That energy then goes into the air around it. The air around it then transfers the energy to the glass. The flame basically is a carrier of some of the energy. There's a whole lot of things happening in combustion. It's a chemical process that is in balance. So we have some kind of a carbon-based fuel that is burning, and then there's some components of combustion that forms, and the energy that we set free is related to the amount of carbon in the product. So here can be a candle or Bunsen burner or so. Effectively, the energy gets released from the wick or so. The wick burns, and that carbon inside the wick is basically transferred into energy. Okay, so when we have the energy moving into the glass, you'll see that there's a disturbance on the surface of the glass. So our heat or our energy that we add into the glass actually causes a dynamic internal to the water. So we agitate the molecules in the water, and that starts to create movement. The next thing we'll see is that after we have like some molecules in the water starting to get agitated, we will have bubbling forming. So we have now some of the gases that are getting freed up. So we basically have a releasing of gas from the water. Water is oxygen and hydrogen. So we actually have a release of some of the oxygen or hydrogen that basically then gets freed up from the structure. Water is a very loose bound structure. It's a magnetic structure. So here we're disturbing the magnetical bond of the liquid, and some of the gases are set free. And then as we get more energy added, we basically start to see that we have this upward motion of heat in the liquid, and we also start to see steam forming at the surface of the liquid. So some of the molecules in the water are actually getting enough energy to then escape from the liquid. So it actually has a changes state. It changes from a liquid to a gas. So we actually have some of the water vapor. So basically the water molecules then get into a gaseous form, and then that escapes the glass to move upwards. So what we can do then is we can hold our hand above this water vapor. We can actually feel the molecules of water vapor hitting our hand. When there's not a lot of energy, it'll lose the energy as it goes up. So the water vapor will not transfer a lot of energy together with it, because there isn't that much energy in the water, and the water vapor just basically feels like clammy or wet. So we just get a kind of a wet feeling on the inside of our hand. Not. However, when we have our hand there for quite a considerable amount of time, and the water reaches a much higher temperature, and it's almost to the point of boiling, the energy transfer from the steam or the water vapor actually starts to heat our hand up, and we can then feel the energy transfer from the water into our hand. So we would then feel heat or kind of a hot feeling on our hand. So basically, the energy from the water is transferred to our hand, and then that heats up the water molecules in our hand, and that then sets off our nervous system, and our nervous system then responds by saying, look, we're getting uncomfortable here, you need to move your hand away. So that happens in the form of your receptors in your hand saying, look, yeah, you're not comfortable anymore, please remove your hand. Okay, so if you keep your hand there, it'll burn. So, which is just basically saying that the water will boil in your hand, which you don't particularly want because that could be really painful and that could cause blistering and so on. So not really clever to do. That's why it's all drawings. And let's translate this into more energy work. Okay, so for the purposes of intuitive readings, we do have that people carry energy with them. They have kind of a momentum or impetus about them, and sometimes their emotions carry a lot of weight. They say, for instance, somebody has experienced a lot of grief or loss, or the loss of some big thing, or a relationship or whatever it was, or somebody that's died or passed on. That actually starts to translate almost in an energy, and when you go around those people, you would basically start to feel that. You would get a sense of, okay, this person has gone through some stuff, and you would actually feel that. If you empathic or you clairsentient, you would actually then feel that as like a heartache feeling, or you would feel that uncomfortable type of a feeling that hangs around them. It's almost like people are in a funk. So you would then kind of sense that this person isn't doing well. They will almost like carry this like cloud around themselves, and then that is like actually all this extra stuff that is like too much for them to contain. So very much like we're agitating the water, that person hasn't got a capacity to hold all that in, and then all these things basically can go and bounce off them and hang around them, and if you are in their company, you can actually start to feel that. And there's a lot of people on the internet and just in general saying that when people have a lot of extra emotions they're carrying with them, if there are a lot of extra feelings they can't process or digest, that it wouldn't be necessarily a good idea to hang around them. And the reason is particularly because that can transfer to you. So that negativity can go to you and you can absorb it, or you can feel it or so. And if you in the presence of people like that and they don't really deal with it, if they get rid of it, fine. If they get rid of it to you, you need to get rid of it as well. If you can't get rid of it, I know in the actual course we're going to really work on this hard, where we find ways to actually get rid of this energy. I have my own coping mechanism that works very effectively. It's not very clean or cozy, but it works very well for me, and I don't really suffer too much consequences of these type of things. But then for you, if you are not able to deal with this, and you're around people like that carry that extra emotion, extra energy with them, that energy will transfer to you. And just like your hand getting hot and you feeling uncomfortable, you would actually start to absorb those energies. And if you can't get rid of it, those energies will become part of you. You will not be able to get rid of it, and then they will start to affect you. You can actually find people, if you're around depressive people all the time, you can start feeling depressed yourself. If you're around a lot of people are very sensitive, Pisces people more so, and they can actually start to feel the effects of other people quite strongly, and this could affect their everyday lives. It could affect their relationship. It can affect their work. So it's very important that if you are going to be around people like this that carry that extra energy with them, that you have a way to get rid of it yourself. So to cast it out. Energy is energy, but you can't destroy it or create it. It just transfers, and you can actually take this and transfer it to plants or into the ground, or you can actually, spoiler alert, you can actually ground yourself and then run this energy into the earth and disperse it, and plants and other people and whatever can use that energy again. If it's enough energy and it's from relationships, you might be able to create some diamonds in the Earth's crust, let's hope, and then you could farm them later. Okay, just a little joke, but the point is you have this whole dynamic that I just explained to you very much happening with people as well, and then you could then sense that energy from them. And this is typically how it works. So I hope this is a really adequate explanation. If you feel that it's not, or you feel that something is needed, please comment, and I will have a look at it.